So, with that, I'd like to invite us together as a community to breathe in and breathe out and just arrive fully to this practice. I'd like to extend this practice to all living beings with whom you share your life. Some of them are furry and some are feathered, some may be scaly and fishy, and so on. I'd like to extend a warm welcome to all living beings practicing and benefiting from the Dharma shared here today. For the month of May, friends, in the Spokane Sangha, we have been exploring the Noble Eightfold Path, specifically the first fold, the first aspect, the first concept that one will encounter. Traditionally, this is called wise understanding. And one of the things I like to contemplate about wise understanding is how funny it is in my mind when I hear those two words, as if I know what they are. Wise, as if. I have inklings of wisdom, I have moments of wisdom, and I have a lot of other moments of pure cluelessness and confusion. And one of the things for me that I had to unlearn when it came to cultivating wisdom was not confusing wisdom with rightness, not confusing wisdom with knowledge, not confusing wisdom with only facts and concrete evidence, but instead allowing all of that to be there because it's true. And the truth of wisdom is so much more. The truth of wisdom is poetic, metaphoric, mysterious, fluent, impermanent, ever evolving. And so when I make a little bit of space for that, suddenly the world opens up and it becomes a far more interesting place than facts alone, than knowledge alone, than being right all the time or feeling like I need to be right, feeling like I need to know all the time. That's an aspect of wisdom, yes, but it is only a small aspect. The rest, there's a much bigger vastness to wisdom. And so, as I've contemplated this particular fold in the Noble Eightfold Path, what came to me was to consider access to wise understanding by learning to be curious. You know the adage, curiosity killed the cat. I find that a nonsensical statement. Curiosity does not kill, carelessness does. So if the cat was careless, then yeah, it will be harmed. But curiosity is a kind of freedom and liberation. And curiosity is not without fear, nor is it without daring and risk. To be curious is to go right to the edge of something sometimes. To be curious is to trust what one cannot see or even know. But instead, in the spaciousness of uncertainty, to be curious is to simply sit in wonder. For me, curiosity is a joyful state. It's an innocent state. For our practice today and our reflection time, I want only to ask a simple question. What's got your curiosity? And can you wander with it? One of the instruments of peace that I speak about all the time that really supports a practice of curiosity is a very simple mantra. And I like to say it kind of breathy. I like to channel my inner Marilyn Monroe when I say it. One, because it makes me giggle and it lightens my mood and it brings joy to the practice. And two, it reminds me that a practice of curiosity, a practice of seeking wisdom in my understanding, isn't a harsh exploration. It isn't laborious. It isn't drudgery. It isn't a burden. There's nothing heavy about it. To be curious is to be light, to allow the freedom of the mind to go from one thing to another, to really just have a wander. And so, what I say is the mantra is, would you look at that? Would you look at that? Woo! Would you look at that? You could say it a million times. You could walk out your door and say it a zillion times just by having a very small window to explore. There's this, there's that, there's this, there's that. There's so many things to wonder about and be curious about. It's extraordinary, this life we live. It's so precious. It's so magnificent. It's rich, colorful, textured, full of mystery and sacredness. And you in it and me in it only adds to its beauty. So I invite you now to turn your gaze ever so gently to your body, just so that you can check in with your body and make sure your body feels a posture of ease and anchoring. Check in with your heart and your mood and your emotions. Check in with your mind. Is there anything that you're grinding on and puzzling on? Can you add a different kind of light to it? Even if you are grinding, even if you're working through something difficult, you don't need to not have that in your experience right now. There's no reason to get rid of it. I'm simply asking, turn on a different light to explore it. Turn on a light that says, oh, wow, would you look at that? Take some deep breaths. Allow your mind the freedom to wander Allow your mind to flutter with a yellow or a blue-tailed swallowtail. Or maybe you want to tag along on the tail end of a bee and just flit around in the mind. And allow a spirit of curiosity to descend and notice what you notice. Enjoy your practice, friends. I'd like to bring us to the conclusion of our practice today, the cultivation of a little curiosity as a complement to gaining access to wise understanding. And I'd like to chant a little bit today. I'd like to chant to the three jewels, the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. And there's a very common chant, and it's Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. Loosely translated, this means with a wide open heart, I bow to the Buddha, to the Dharma, to the Sangha. And I really enjoy this particular chant. It's very calming. And so I like to put my hands on my heart. I keep my eyes closed. And I'm going to chant this 4 times. And that way you can really pick it up with me and join me in the privacy of your own home and see how it resonates with you. Taking a deep breath in. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. Thank you, friends. And I'd like to just bring us toward the conclusion entirely. And I want to bring forward something a Sangha member mentioned about when we're curious and when we encounter others who are not. Oh, fun. Oh, goodsies, right? Yikesters. So here's an important thing to remember, and it's a very humbling thing, really, is not everybody's a practitioner. Not everybody knows that there's such a thing as a practice. Um, we're sort of exposed to it and we're around each other all the time, and so we forget that there are millions and millions and millions of people who are still operating in a very dualistic paradigm that can be highly limiting and oppressive. And so to be curious is to have doubt, to express doubt, and to express doubt's bad. To be curious is dangerous and scary. To be curious is to risk being banished and exiled. And so there isn't a lot in the Western culture to encourage curiosity. So no wonder when we're expressing it, we encounter in others some resistance. So there's a resource that I'd like to share with you, and that is the Satyaseva book, Reimagining Recovery and Support. And so I'd like to bring you to chapter just two resources, chapter 15, page 377, labels and capacity 2. So this is all about recognizing capacity. When you encounter somebody who isn't curious, remember they may be operating with a limited capacity. The other, and that particular chapter, chapter 15, is all about reducing violence. So if we're curious and we insist that other people are curious too, we may be inadvertently creating conditions for harm and violence. So just watch the capacity. And really, that particular instrument of peace, I have the capacity to not be curious, right? We've all been there. Just like me, I have the capacity to not be curious. The other resource in this book is in the chapter of wise speech, chapter 12, and it's on page 289, and it's a whole little subsection on capacity. Cultivating capacity is huge, and recognizing when somebody else doesn't have it is huge, and maybe even asking a question. Do you have the capacity to have a conversation about something that I'm curious about? What a practice. What a practice. Hey, I'd like to share with you something I'm curious about, but if you don't have the capacity for it, or if you run out of capacity, by all means say so. So just some language to encourage people's awareness, okay? All righty, friends, good news. Sunday, 11 o'clock. Come join us for Sate Seva. We are in chapter 3. We're going to be talking about the cultivation of space, continue that conversation. And we're looking at space as an act of generosity. To be spacious is to be generous. And so join us on Sunday if you can. Don't worry if you can't, we'll have it recorded. And thanks to Lo, it'll be posted on our website and podcast and YouTube page. Lo has posted the link to Soul Center. You can check out our schedule for Recovery Dharma. You can check out all the other fantastic things we've got going on. A couple of Sangha members have also posted some wonderful things going on with Recovery Dharma organization, Recovery Dharma Global. Please check it out. There's also information on a WhatsApp connection as well. So it's all in the chat. Please, please, please check it out so that we can stay connected. There is a PDF for the Recovery Dharma book that you can download for free if that's something that you're interested in. Email me with any questions or concerns. Make a dana offering if you want to. Remember, dana in the Spokane Sangha is any expression of generosity that you feel called to share. Sometimes it's money. Sometimes that's a card. Sometimes that's an email letting me know what's on your mind and heart. Sometimes that's a stick of incense or a bag of toilet paper. Just whatever, your favorite tea, it doesn't matter. However you want to share a little bit of yourself, we are so happy to receive. Lo, have I forgotten anything? Are we good? Okay. All righty. Let's go ahead and end our beautiful practice with a dedication of merit. I love this part of the practice. And every time I've been on retreat and anytime I've gone to a monastery to practice, I've always kind of perked up at the dedication of merit. It's just this time to reflect on goodness. I mean, look at the goodness shared here today. All these beautiful eyes and these beautiful smiles, all the all the extraordinary commitment that you've expressed by prioritizing this time. It is such exquisite self-regard. I receive it. I take it in. I feel infused and energized by it. And I need this right now because I'm sleep deprived, because I have puppies and I love them. But I'm up in the middle of the night and I struggle to fall back to sleep. And so I need goodness. I need that source of bright energy. So take it in, friends. And if you have an inner critic that's like, no, you're kind of shitty today. Maybe you're not worth all this goodness. Maybe you don't deserve all this goodness. You can just invite that voice to sit down, because we're all deserving. We're here, and therefore we're participating and we're worthy to receive this. And not only that, everyone is. And so when we dedicate this merit, we're taking it in for ourselves so that we can then radiate it out into the world. The millions of people who've never encountered the Dharma, or the millions of people who don't really know anything about the Dharma and who have misperceptions. Your presence is a radiant one. So we'll end with this dedication. May you be happy and peaceful. May you be healthy and strong. May you be safe and protected. May you live with ease. Thank you so much for your beautiful practice, friends. We'll see you next time. Namaste.